Yes, sir, Soup. Thanks for that.
Yes,
Thanks for blessing I with the It's Your Perspective poems. Soup's been blessing us for over 3.5 years. Getting closer to 4 now, Soup.
Yeah.
So thanks for that for sure, man. But we do have a special guest in the studio here. Let me click over. His name is Khalid Saleem. There he is right there. Wave to the crowd, man. The entire world is seeing you, man. What's up? What's happening?
I'm great.
Yeah, thanks for coming through, man.
Thank you. First of all, I'll give thanks to the Most High for having me here, allowing me to be here today, so I'm excited.
You're excited. Okay, man. So we got a call from a dear friend of ours. She said, David, you got to get this guy on the show, man. He's got this new book called Growing Up Green, or How to Survive U.S. Army Basic Training and Live to Write About It. There's the book right there. He's holding it up.
Yes, I.
So,
introduce the world.
Yeah, introduce yourself
to the world.
Introduce yourself.
Again, I gotta thank Miss Keenan for introducing me to Mr. Christian, and this is Growing Up Green. This is my love child right now. Took me 2 years to complete, but these are short stories from my basic training experiences. And yeah, this is basic training, the Army, one of the best decisions of my life. I went on another radio station before and said it was the best decision of my life. But my wife and children are the best decision of my life, and want to say hi to them right now, Crystal, Azai, and Xavier. But funniest book you're going to read this year, coming of age story, so go out and get it. It's just not me saying this or my family. There's other people saying that it's funny. And if you're a serviceman, definitely reminisce, check it out. If you're thinking of joining the military, check it out. I mean, it'll prep you. I've had people say, thank you, it prepped me for basic training before I read it. And if you're just a regular old civilian who just wants curiosity of what is the military or basic training about, read the book. Again, don't listen to me. You can go check out the comments on Amazon. Again, other people like it. If other people like it, you'll like it.
So, what inspired you to do this book, Khalid?
What inspired me is I'm a writer. Writing is what makes me happy. And so I write screenplays. And screenplays are hard. It's hard to write, but it's what gives me joy for the past 10 years.
Right.
Haven't sold anything yet, but it's coming soon. It's coming soon, yes, actually. Right. And so I figured I was teaching primary school. I had some really good friends. If I can shout out Rachel Strzeski, Tanya Galletti, and Stacy Thompson, who really writing with them for the year. They really taught me a lot as far as growing as a writer. And I read a couple books. Knuckleheads by John Cheska and House on Mango Street, where I was like, those some mentor texts where I said, you know what, I can do that. I can tell stories about my basic training experience, and I can talk about things that I know, and writers write about what they know. So I said, let me write about this. And when the process of writing, it was like a therapy session. It was truly like a therapy session. I'm going through a memory lane. I outlined the book. I'm going through memory lane, writing this, and at the end of it, I think it took me about 6 or 7 months to write the first draft. By the end of it, I cried.
Yeah.
I cried. I'll admit it. I cried. I shed a couple of tears where it was just fun going down memory lane and contacting my friends. You remember this happened, or just getting some advice from them. So I really enjoyed the process of writing it, and I think other people, if you really want to just flush something out your system or go down memory lane, write a book. It doesn't have to be for money. It just could be for yourself. Mm-hmm. And this is the first part of a 3-part comedic series, where this one is about basic training. The next one is about active duty. And again, all coming of age to growing up to be a man. For me, my perspective. And the third book is about National Guard. And for me, the protagonist in this book, it's about a young man who doesn't know what he wants to do. Right. There's so many kids like that when they leave high school. They don't know what they want to be. I mean, some people are a little more polished than others, but for the most part, I didn't know what I wanted to be. Malcontent young man who thought going to the Army was easier than going to college. I can't explain my rationale, but it seemed like the easier way, right. And I always took the easy way out. So I joined, and these short stories start from the decision-making process coming from St. Croix, coming from a little place where, I tell you, I didn't know I was country until I went abroad. And I remember the first time I was in base training, someone called me a minority. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm a majority. What are you talking? Yes. I didn't know. I didn't know as far as the labels that came with it. I came from this little island where I thought was the world, and I found out it wasn't.
We are the majority here.
Yeah, here. Yeah. And so it was. I held my head high, and I got to experience things. And so these are short stories about my experiences. I have razor bumps, shaving for the first time. I didn't shave. I had whiskers when I left, and they made you shave. And I looked like the Elephant Man. And so I have stories telling about the Elephant Man, looking like the Elephant Man and having to deal with that. I have stories about dealing with a team dynamic and having to learn that you get punished for the team. Right. And then there's other stories where just me having to learn that hard work, it takes hard work if you want to accomplish anything in life. So that's what you're going to get out of this book, the funny side of the military. I wasn't a sniper. There's people out there who are protecting our country who are doing some amazing things on the battlefield. I wasn't that. I was a medical supply kid who learned how to be, a person who was proud, a patriot, through experiences. And one of the proudest things I've ever done, again, joining the service, because I found me, but I found that, I found something greater than me also. So that's what this book captures. This book captures, I think the last chapter is, I have listed is Proud to be American. And it means different things to different people. So it's not political in that regard. It's, being a patriot means something to you. And this talks about what being a patriot was to me. And if you look at the blurb, it talks about young African-American, Muslim, West Indian kid where I hit a lot of boxes. All right, I hit a lot of boxes, but that's what it is. We're a melting pot, and I'm one of those pieces to the melting pot.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Khalid. So this book, I mean, why write this book? I mean, why didn't you write a book about Khalid Saleem, the man? I mean, why this? I mean, why this specifically? Was basic training hard for you, or was it more of a comedic kind of a thing?
It's the hardest thing you ever do. Like it's the source of strength in so many things I do now. Where if something's bad, I'm like, it wasn't that bad. I mean, this was worse, and it's just a source of strength in your life. It's one of those pivotal coming of age or rites of passage. Okay. And I think we all go through them in different paths. Where mine was basic training. Some might be joining a fraternity. Some might just be going to college. So this was my rites of passage, and I think that when you have that rites of passage, you really have a transformation. And this is a transformation book from, again, malcontent to I think I have a purpose right now. And so that's why it was important to me. And this was my first novel. I'd never written a novel before, and I said, let me write from what I know. And so it flowed. It flowed, and it was fun. It was fun. You want to do something that's fun. Write something fun. If it's laborsome, you might want to find a new story to write about. So this was fun. Yeah.
So you are you a comedian?
I've done some stand-up.
Oh, right? Okay.
I've done some stand-up. I don't know if I would qualify as a comedian. I like writing comedies, but I did some stand-up. And if you've never done stand-up before, I recommend that you do stand-up. It's the greatest Toastmasters in the world, where you go up there and you're putting yourself out there.
Right.
People are, can I make them laugh? And I've done it about 3 or 4 times. And after that, I never was shy about speaking in public. And I was shy before that. You gave me a mic. I was stammering. I just didn't have the nerves. And so I think that really helped me. And I think you just go out there. It's not about you becoming the next greatest comedian. It's really about you, journey of self.
You remember what the jokes were?
I joked about one time. I joked about marriage. I joked about kids. Let me talk the kid story. A kid one where I joked about how my kid, my eldest, when we only had one child at the time, didn't love me like he loved mommy. And I was talking about if I was on a cliff and he had to make a decision between me or mommy, it'd be in a split second. I'll be gone. Yes. So I talked about that, just my kid being a mama's boy. Okay. And so I'll leave it there for now.
Cool. So the crowd was just laughing hysterically, right?
I got some laughs. No lie, I got some laughs. I felt good about that. You got some laughs, and then after that, I was telling everybody I was a comedian. I was like, I'm a comedian.
Okay, I got you. So, as it comes to the book now, not to give away too much, because obviously you want people to buy the book, but give us something that something that you thought was funny in basic training at the time.
All right, I think the funniest thing I thought about basic training at the time. Let me go through. I have a chapter about doing KP duty. When you do kitchen patrol duty and you got to make the meals and you got to clean up. And we got chosen for it. And you're like, yeah, I got chosen for kitchen duty. And you're getting out of all the exercises for that day. And you get to be in the AC. And before I'd done it, I'd never done it before. So you're here in the midst that you get soda. You get all kinds of great food while you're in there. And then when I got there, it was like a slave camp. It was, I was like, this is terrible. I've been shammed. And so that was, to me, one of the funniest things that happened in Bay Street, and I write about in the chapter. And then we had the person who was our drill sergeant. She had all kinds of chips on her shoulders where we were in trouble for the day. It was like one of the longest days, but one of the best days. So it talks about the arc as far as where it started and where it ended. And I always like to give a little life tip at the end of every chapter.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, see what I learned from that.
Okay, okay.
And then another funny thing, I guess, would be, and I didn't get to put this book, it's probably my only regret, where we talk about marching and drilling ceremonies. I was terrible. When I started, I had no rhythm. I might have been the only black dude in the world that soca came on. And so they voted me off. They had a big drilling ceremony competition, and they could get one person could leave. You could vote one person off. And it was me. It was between me, the tree, and a person couldn't walk. And it was they chose me. They're like, you have to go because we will lose if you're here. Okay. So yeah. That's something I wish I put in the book, but it didn't make it. But that's the type of stuff that happens in Basic. Basic is fun. It's funny now. Looking back is funny. When you're going through it, it's hard to find the jokes.
Yeah.
But afterwards, you reflect, and anybody tell you about Basic, they have jokes and laughs and they have memories.
Would you give anybody advice to go to join the service?
Oh yeah, I tell people do it for the right reasons, but I always recommend the military. Military might get a bad rap, but it's not for everybody, but it was right for me. Mm-hmm. I tell people, if you don't know what you really want, the hot word is always gap year. Take a gap year. A hot word is gap year. Go take a gap year. That was my gap year. I had a 4-year gap year before I went to college, and I found me. Right. And so I think that I would recommend it to people who really want to just, don't feel like going to college at that moment. It doesn't mean that you're a failure if you don't go to college right away. It just means that you go eventually if you want, or some people, that's just not their path. So military was right for me, and I went to college when I went to the military. My first 4 years, I got a year knocked out. So it taught me what I wanted to do once I got in. Once I got in, I was like, I need to go to college.
Yeah, that's what you needed to do, yeah. So you doing any traveling, like any TDY assignments when you were in the military, or,
I went to Kosovo. Okay. Kosovo, people would say trip out when I say it was fun. It was fun. I went to Kosovo, and again, it's different from going to Iraq or Afghanistan or anything. When I went, peacekeeping time, and I was young. I remember telling my mom I volunteered, and she's like, "What? You volunteer?" I was like, "Yeah, they're gonna pay you extra."
You're already in the military, and you're volunteering again, right?
Yeah. They said they're gonna pay you extra money, Mom. She's like, "They pay you extra money because it's hazardous duty day." You know what hazardous mean? So I went, and for me, I'm a creature of habit. You tell me where to be, what to wear, and what time to be there. I'm like, this is the life. Military was the easiest job I ever had in my life because of that. Now I gotta make decisions. The real world, the real world's terrible.
So, Khalid, talk a little bit about, so you're from St. Croix. Yes. So talk about sort of your early what's the word looking for, upcomings here.
Yes, I grew up in Princess, and I grew up.
Was your father in the military, your uncles, or any?
You would think my father was in the military.
Okay.
My father had a bark. I think anybody who was my friend and met my dad, always they called the house and was like, I just want to speak to college. He had a bark, but he was a great dad. I had a dad who was tough, but fair, and I draw from strength now when I think about my father. Mm. And my mom was always like the savior, say he wouldn't kill us. Like, don't let him kill us. So I had great parents that let me be me. And so I grew up in Princess. I went to a couple schools. I went to Ricardo Richards, one of the greatest public schools ever. Went to Ricardo Richards, and I went to Manor School after that. Made some great friends at Manor School. I think going to Complex changed me because it was such a bigger pool. And a bigger pool of kids where the competition was so stiff. My class of 98, which I think is the best year at Complex. People can call in after that and we'll see in chat if they want. But 98 was that year where I met kids who were they were competitive. It was a highly competitive academic environment. I had Senator VLA and Senator Positive Nelson and Miss St. Clair. I had Miss Brown, Alsace Brown, who's in the book. I had great teachers. I had amazing teachers who they cared. And so I think complex was a different ground where I had to fight for the first time. I was in this larger pool and I had to fight so much, and it taught me that I might not be ready for college, and it was okay. If we weren't ready for college, it was okay. But it taught me that you have to work, and the type of kids that I was at school with were just leaders.
Okay. And you had to work harder to sort of keep up, in a sense.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, right?
Yeah, you'll see him it's 98, so we're coming into our own around the island, and you'll see that some really amazing human beings that came out of that year.
Okay. 1998?
1998 complex.
All right, man. Let me ask you this, man. So you here it says that you're an African-American Muslim. So you're Muslim?
Yes.
You practice that faith?
Yes.
Okay. So how has that been for you? I mean, you talk about any of that kind of stuff in the book. I mean, did you meet any Muslims when you were in, or how did that all sort of come about?
I do, but it wasn't a bigger factor when I joined basic training. I have one chapter where I identify with where I met Brother Sadiq. I met my first battle buddy, and I got bullied. And so the chapter is about how I met this other Muslim who was older than me and would bully me. And so it's this whole chapter where I met this other Muslim who was like, he wanted me to make me him. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a funny chapter. It's called Battle Buddy, where that's the only time I talk about it, where I think it's more prevalent in or relevant in the active duty book that's going to come out.
Okay.
But I don't know. It never hindered me from doing anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said that this is like a three-part series.
Yes.
And growing up is about basic training, and then the middle book is, what's the name of the middle book again? Or?
Middle book, working title right now is just active duty. I was kind of lazy. Just active duty.
Okay.
But active duty is going to be fun. It's going to be fun because it just tells the real deal of what happens once you get past. And it's college. It's just like telling a college story, but with less rules in the sense that you're let to be free.
Yes.
As crazy as it sounds in the military. Hey, go out there. You're grown. Do grown things. Make decisions. And I think it's always different from college in that regard. I think a lot of people have freedom in college, but it's just not the same. And people might argue it, but I just think that being in the military, have that freedom and making grown-up decisions at that age. I think you have more grown-up decisions to make at that age. Versus college. Yeah.
Did you meet anybody from the Virgin Islands when you were in?
Oh, yeah. David Best is one of Felipe Louis, David Best. I met other cruisers. I remember when I met David Best, he was in Germany. I was in Germany, stationed in Germany, and I met David. I saw David. I was like, what? I was in one of my high school classmates, and it was great because David was wiser than me. Okay. I was making dumb decisions. He was wiser, and especially with women, where he would give me advice. Don't do that, Khalid. So David right now is a sergeant major, I think, in the Army. We talk every now and then, but I think he's a sergeant major. He's doing great things.
Okay. So he's still active duty, and you
still active duty. And sergeant major, if you don't know, is the highest non-commissioned officer position. David is doing amazing things. And Felipe Louis, I think, got out. But again, I ran into Felipe at Fort Stewart. And when you run into somebody from home, though, I don't care if it's from St. Thomas, St. John, and you might have a little beef when you're here, but when you're abroad, what's going on? I ran into some Symptomians, and it was great. When you're abroad, you don't care about. You're like, that's home.
Yeah, that's right.
You sit down, you talk about it, you share music. Sharing music for me was one of the biggest things. Like, you got a new mixtape. So
amongst each other. Wow. So what did you study in college?
Sports and recreation management.
Okay.
I was going to be the next Jerry Maguire. I was going to be a sports agent. That's what I was like. Yeah, I'm going to be a sports agent.
You be the next who? The who?
Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire. Okay, I got you.
I was going to be a sports agent. Okay. And then I didn't have the stomach to be a sports agent. I got into it and I like just learning the recreation side of it. And I liked recreation. I liked community recreation. And I also liked film. And so for me, I started taking film classes within there. But if you don't have the money to change majors, you go with the major you've chosen and you take classes. And so I took some classes, and I knew later on I was going to take some more film classes. But sports and recreation management was great. I thought I knew a lot about sports, and then again, you meet people, you get to a bigger pool, and you meet people who are really serious about sports.
Yeah. Okay.
But it was great. It's great competition in Philly. That's in Temple University in Philadelphia.
That's where you went to school at? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you're a screenwriter, right?
Yeah, that's my first love.
Your first love, okay.
So what kind of movies do you write? What kind of?
I write comedies. I think I'm the funniest dude in the world. So I write comedies and Comedies make me smile when I write. I write things that make me smile.
Okay.
So I think novels are going to be my outlet for telling coming-of-age stories, but reminiscing and telling that type of story. And I think screenwriting is going to be more of my now, where I find something in the newspaper, I'm like, I want to write about that.
Okay.
I saw it in the newspaper. I want to write it, make me chuckle. Let me see if I can develop a story around it.
Okay.
I got my Master of Fine Arts from Full Sail, and that's where I studied screenwriting, creative writing.
All right. Okay. So you really you're into this stuff then?
Yeah, I'm a professional development geek for writing. I love going to learn about my craft. I want to get better at it.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Screenwriter. So I mean, have you met anybody significant in your genre, screenwriting or anything like that?
Kira Snyder is probably my favorite writer I've met. And Kira Snyder, she's done The 100, Handmaid's Tale. I did a veterans workshop out in LA a couple years back, and you got to meet some executives out there where they were working, and you got to talk to them, and you saw where you wanted to be. And so Kira Snyder was probably, you might not know her, but if you follow her, you'll find that she's an amazing writer that you'll want to invest in.
Okay. Okay. All right. Perfect, man. Growing up green, man, or how to survive U.S. Army basic training and live to write about it. So you live to write about it, eh?
I tell you.
You had any kind of strange encounters over there?
Strange encounters, just in basic training, or
yeah, just in basic training, or actually your whole military.
Strange encounters. I mean, you find out about following leadership and bosses. I think that was probably the strangest encounters, where you find out that you have to listen to a boss, and you might not have to like the boss, but you got to listen to them. So that was probably the thing I had to get used to, because when I was younger, you go through the maturation where I found myself at the basic, but when you get to active duty, I asked a lot of questions like why.
Yeah.
And why questions aren't always the questions you want to ask in the military.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had patient people with me, because I could be a brat at times. I mean, I think the maturation part, if you're honest with yourself, you are not always the best self you can be. Like I was a brat at times. I had good mentors that helped to mold me, but it was a work in progress. I remember going to Germany and thinking I was the hottest thing. I mean, I had a couple ribbons, and I just thought I walked on water. And it was the wrong attitude to have, because I had to learn. I had to humble myself. And I wasn't humble, and I didn't have a great work ethic. So it took me a long time to get a great work ethic.
Okay.
And I think the strangest thing, the strangest thing that I've seen when I went into basic training, you know what? That's put me in a spot. I have to think about it, because it was all strange. It was all new. I think shakedown. Shakedown is the strangest thing, because if anybody's coming new to the military, that first day, the bombs start flying, okay? You get out that cattle truck, and they're like, you gotta run. And you're like, your head is swerving and on a swivel, and you're just running. You don't know what's happening, and people just screaming at you. I think that was the strangest thing, because you just aren't used to that. Yeah. I don't care if you're playing sports. You might have people yelling at you. It felt like they were going to kill you.
Yeah.
And that's probably
trying to whip you into shape.
Yes.
Yeah, I hear you, man. So, talk about writing a book.
Yes.
And I mean,
the process you go through.
Yeah, the process you go through, because you made a comment earlier, if I understood you correctly, you were saying that, if you're writing about a particular subject and you're not really able to get your thoughts on paper, maybe you need to write about something else.
Yeah, I think you write about what you know, but you also do research. It doesn't have to be exactly what you know. Like, you can do research. If you're willing to put in the work, you can do research, but you have to write about something that's fascinating to you. Because if it means nothing to you, then you're just putting words on page that mean nothing.
Yes.
So you got to write about something that means something to you. And so for the writing process, I love outlining. For me, I've come up with the idea, and then I outline it to death. Because if I know where I'm going, it's easier for me to actually create the bones. It's easier for me to put the flesh on it.
Okay. Okay.
And in that regard, where you start with saying outlining, you want it. It doesn't mean that that's going to be the path that you have to take. It just shows you a path, and the story is going to take you where it's going to take you. But at least you outline, and you've got a path to walk. So you get the bones, and you put the flesh. Putting the flesh on it, I think, is hard, but it's easier.
How long did it take you to write that book?
2 years, from inception idea to actually getting published. 2 years.
Oh, really? Okay.
And
so you were actually writing every day? I mean, did you have writer's block at time, or How did that play into that?
I don't get writer's block.
You don't? Okay.
Honest to
okay.
God, I don't get. I read somewhere one time where it said professionals don't get writer's block, and what it means by that, you push on through, even if you don't have the top ideas at the time. You just keep on writing it out. You keep on vomiting it out, and eventually, it'll become clear.
Okay.
And for me, I daydream a lot, and even if I might not have the exact idea, I'll just write it out until I have that.
Okay.
And you constantly brainstorming. But for writing this book, I think that the hardest part for me was rewriting. Rewriting is tough. No one wants you write something, you're like, boom, it's done. Like you're done, and you want to be done, but you have to fight on through that, and you have to rewrite.
Okay.
Stephen King says you vomit out the first draft, and after that you pick out the chunks that don't belong. That's the rewrite.
Okay.
So if you just write it out that first draft, doesn't matter if it's good or not, you're gonna have to rewrite, and so you'll get through it faster.
Okay.
And also, if you just when you say as far as do I write every day, I don't write every day. I write, let's say my daydream, or I might write down. I write down notes every day. Let's put it that way. But actually going into a story and say I'm writing on that story,
okay.
I don't write down every day. But I also, if I have a project, I set out a schedule.
Okay. Okay.
So I think you just have to know that I'm going into a project and I have a schedule. And at the least I'm going to do is 1 page for that day.
Okay.
If you say 1 page is all you're going to do for a day, that's nothing. You're not trying to finish it all in 1 day. You just say I'm 1 page. Boom. It's like going to the gym and just say, I'm going to curl. That's cool. I made it to the gym. It's 1 page.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you.
Khalid, how have your experience here and coming from here helped you to mold you to the man that you are today?
Wow. Coming from home, you know what? The people here are always so welcoming to help you. And I think I always had good mentors. And that's what I think helped me, because you always have someone who's trying to give you advice.
Right.
If you're willing to listen, it'll help you out. And I think from here, it taught me to take advice. And so when I went abroad, I wasn't afraid to take advice from somebody. And you're open to it. And you listen. And it'll help you guide you through. You're going to make mistakes, but making mistakes that you can't come back from. Mm. Or help you become successful. So I've always had good mentors here, men and women that are always willing to take the time out to help you.
Right.
So I think that's what benefited me when leaving here and going abroad. And also, you don't leave with, I think personally, you don't leave with fear. Leaving here, I was like, okay, let's go. I'm going. And you have to leave so often to go places from here that when it was time to go, I was used to it. Like, this is what you do.
Yeah.
You got to go abroad.
You got to go, yeah. Yeah. Our guest tonight is Khalid Saleem. He wrote a new book. It's called Growing Up Green, or How to Survive U.S. Army Basic Training and Live to Write About It. Khalid has survived and lived to write about it. And he has a sort of a comedic book, I guess is how you would describe that.
Yes.
About his stories, his tales, good times, bad times in the military. It sounds like overall it's made you just a better person. You on time? Are you on time, man?
You know, if I'm here, I'm on time.
Yeah,
if I'm at St. Croix, even if I'm half an hour late, I'm on time.
I'm on time, right?
So it depends on the event. If I have a job, something for work, or I have a job interview, yeah, I'm there, because I'm nervous about not being there and leadership getting on me. I'm really was it the word scary? About when leadership jumps on me, I'm like, I'm so sorry. So when it's pressure on the line, yeah, I'm there. But if my wife tells me to take out the garbage or certain things, or meet me here, baby, you got to be here.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Let me ask you, what was your rank when you got out?
Excuse me, repeat
Your
that?
rank?
Oh, specialist.
Oh, specialist, so you're E4?
Yeah, E4.
Okay, man. You did what, 5 years?
No, I did 4 years active duty and then 10 years altogether.
Okay.
And when you go to National Guard, it's different with how ranked, you have to have slots for your rank. So it wasn't for lack of trying, it was just slots. And for me, I loved my unit, and I wasn't willing to go to another unit to find the slot for the rank. So my rank never grew once I got out of active duty. But you just got to, no matter what your rank is, you have to take on responsibility. And that's what I learned in National Guard. People give you, thrust on you responsibility, you have to do it. Like, it doesn't matter if you only E4 or you got to do it.
You got to do your duty, yeah.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit too about the whole part. You wrote the book. Now I guess you got to take it to a publisher. I mean, what is that process like? Was it difficult? Did you get rejected at any point?
You hear a lot of no's.
Okay.
You gotta get used to it. No has to become your middle name.
And they're saying no to you because they think that your book is not good?
Well, you know, it doesn't fit. And it's not always because it's not good, does it fit? And you got to find a place to fit. Sometimes it's not ready, and sometimes it's a fit. Hellgate Press is who published my book, and that was actually my first choice because it was a military press. So that was my first choice.
Okay.
But if you get over the fact that they say no, some people say no to you just because, again, it's not a fit. Sometimes they say no to you because, again, it's not up to par. And sometimes they want to give you notes how to become better. As long as you just say, you know what, the no right now isn't about me personally. It's about the writing.
Yes.
You can overcome that.
Okay.
It took me a long time to understand how to take critique.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said this
Hellgate Press?
Hellgate Press. Okay, and that's the military.
Yes.
Okay.
Small publisher, but I'm a small town type of guy. I like the fact that I could always talk to the editor. He was always talking to me. I could phone call away, and he really nurtured me through the process, especially being my first book. Most people don't get their first book published.
Oh, really? Okay.
I was fortunate, and yeah, I have no complaints about the process. It taught me a lot, and I'm ready to go on for another book.
Okay. So you were able to use them after the military? Obviously.
Excuse me?
You're able to use them after you got out the military?
Well, Hellgate Press?
Yes.
Well, yeah, this is 10 years after I got out that I wrote this book.
Okay.
So in total time, maybe let's think back. It was 15 years after. So I was a veteran who did the research. You got to go online. You got to go online and say, you know what? Let's look up publishers. Let's look up agents, and how does my project fit with them? So you got to do the research. It's a lot of work. But it's fun.
Okay.
It's fun if you're willing to put it in. The rewards are huge.
Okay. Our guest tonight is Khalid Saleem. He published a new book here called Growing Up Green, or How to Survive U.S. Army Basic Training and to Live to Write About It. He's lived to write about it and is sharing some stories. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back in a few minutes. Stand by. All right. We are back. This is the HR Perspective Talk Show every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 p.m. until. Today is Tuesday, July 11th. We do have a special guest in the studio, Khalid Saleem. There he is. Wave to the crowd one more time, man. You're streaming out. So we just had a quick break there, man. I think I kind of hear what you guys were saying while I was doing some stuff over here, but there's something else that you wanted to talk about real quick?
Yes.
Yes, I have goals for this book, and I think that's what I really want to talk about, get it out, where we have 100,000 people in the Virgin Islands, and I just want 10% to buy this book, because I think that with the support of this island, promotes other writers, gives hope for other writers to say, you know what, I want to do this. We already have a lot of writers ready, but it gives hope when we support our own and we get those sales up. And 50% of my book goes to military charities.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and this book, your first book's now about becoming rich. Would I like to become rich? Yeah, don't get that wrong. Yes, but your first book's about getting your word out there, name out there, how you write out there. Right. And I really want to get that out there where people can read it and say, you know what, I could be inspiration for somebody who says, your military, you were saying, you wrote that down, I could do that. This is not about my military is the toughest. You might find my basic training experience wasn't tough. But that's not the point. If you feel that way, write a book yourself. I wrote this book so it could empower more soldiers to write, tell your story. It doesn't always have to be, it could be funny, it could be serious, but you have a story. And some people aren't comfortable tearing, that's fine. I'm talking about if you think that you couldn't do it, you can. And reach out. I mean, after this, my information, I think I can put it on the website. Reach out, I'll walk you through the process, but tell your story, and I want the whole community to see if they can support it. If you have a friend right now who's in the military and you're viewing this, share the link. Come on, watch the stream, and then check out the book. On Kindle, the book is only $4.99. I have gone to other fast food places here where you can't even buy one meal that costs $4.99. So you could buy this book for $4.99, a good read a chapter a week. But I promise you'll laugh.
How many pages?
226.
Okay.
And it's easy. It's short chapters. Trust me. I wrote this for me. Short chapters, 7 pages, The longest chapter, I believe, is 7 pages, 8 pages.
Okay.
You can read this book. It's short books where, that's me. I wrote this book for me. I didn't write this book where I had Harry Potter size, which is okay. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I wrote it for a reading style I want. I want short. I like short chapters,
Right.
and I like short stories. And I just want the community to rally around this. 10,000 books is my goal. 10,000 books from the VI is my goal. 10%.
So they can get your books here at local bookstores?
Soon, I'm going to put in a couple local bookstores here. One is Undercover Books.
Yes.
I'm trying to put another bookstore out in West. And right now it's what's the name? Consignment, where I put a couple books and they'll pay me afterwards. It's a split.
Gotcha.
But the more people that request this book, then they're going to say, you know what? We might have to order this book from the publisher.
Right.
Yes.
So go flood your bookstore, flood Undercover Books. Say, I need to have this book, Growing Up Green, like I need air. All right. And if you don't want to go to bookstore, get it on Kindle.
Okay.
Put on Kindle. If you're a deployed soldier, if you're getting deployed, put on Kindle. $4.99.
Yeah.
All right.
So
That's it.
if you wanted to buy an actual hard copy, order it through Amazon?
You can order through Amazon or Hellgate Press. Hellgate Press or Amazon. Hellgate Press, you'll get a small sample where you can read. You can see if you even like it. 25-page sample. You can read through it.
Okay.
You can also on Amazon look at the comments. All right. I gotta say I'm proud of the comments. I have people who read the book.
What are they saying, man? What are they saying, real quick? What are they saying?
Khalid Saleem is so handsome. I'm sorry, no. It's saying that the book is a funny read, even if you're not the military. If you are the military, they're saying that it's taking down memory lane, where they laughed out loud. It's a true depiction of what basic training is about.
Okay.
And then I have a website. I have a Facebook page, Growing Up Green, Tell Your Soldier Story.
Okay.
If you're a soldier, share it with somebody. Go on there. I want you to tell your story. I want you to laugh. I want you to put up prompts. Let's laugh together. Let's reminisce.
Right.
You are in one of the biggest fraternities in the world, all right, and sororities in the world when you talk about the military. You know someone has served at one point, and you get in a conversation. Oh, I served like 2 or 4 years, and it's a conversation you get. You have something in common. We have more things in common than we have differences. So connect with this book.
All right, man. Our guest tonight is Khalid Saleem. He has a new book, Growing Up Green. He did 4 years in the military, and the first book of his series is on basic training, the funny side of it, the serious side of it, just his experience, his perspective. He's put it all in thoughts in a book that you can get on Amazon. You can get it from hellsgatepress.com, I think.
Yep.
I got that correct there. And it's going to be in local bookstores here hopefully soon in St. Croix.
St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John. If I could put it on Buck Island, I'll put it on Buck Island. Where you can get it anywhere part of the Virgin Island. One Virgin Island.
Are you getting good feedback from the locals? Yeah. They're just loving it?
I am. They're reading it and saying, you know what, I didn't think I'd like a book like this, but the first 2 chapters hooked me in, and they're asking questions about some of the characters. And okay. I wrote this, and I don't talk bad about anybody. So people said, "Oh, how do you know their names?" I said, I use last names, so you don't really know all the time.
Right,
but I use some first names. Well, I don't talk bad about people. It's more of a journey of self than anything else. I think a lot of times we have to learn how to reflect. That if we're honest with reflection, we can be our own antagonists. All right, we might be the protagonist and antagonist in the same person.
Yes.
I gotta also say thank you when we talk about home. I gotta say thank you to the American Legion, who just embraced me. I never know if people want me to say their names or not, but I gotta say Annie Henry, Roxanne. Roxanne has a long Roxanne Miller Lewis, I think her full name is. And you have Carmen, and you have Sunita Haywood. You have Charles David. I mean, you have people that opened their arms out to me, and they didn't know me. I mean, Miss Henry knew me. She knew me from young, but for the most part, American Legion took me under the wing and said, you know what? We're going to put a book signing for you. I'm going to connect you with radio stations. I'm going to connect you with this woman named, Joan. I got, everywhere I went, people opened their arms out to me. And I was just proud. I would say American Legion also, if you're a veteran out there, look and see what they have to offer. There's benefits that you just don't know about. Even if you're in the National Guard, I think you qualify for getting veteran benefits while you're in. And go see what they have to offer. They need some younger members. Join up.
Yeah.
Look into it. I mean, American Legion, I have nothing but great things to say because they really showed me what Virgin Island Love was all about when I first came down. I think the second day they said, come to my house, we're going to have a meeting. And in the meeting, my head is just toggling back and forth as they're planning out how they're going to help me and how they're going to take away from their summer and their time after work to make sure that this experience, when you come home, you're going to have a great experience. And that I have. I don't want to leave right now, but I have a family that I have to go back to. I'm not going to abandon them.
Judy calls.
I hear you on that one, man. All right, man. So we're going to leave it at that. Our guest tonight is Khalid Saleem.
So, Khalid, tell us where the people then could get a book, where they could reach you at, and all of that good stuff.
Amazon.com. You can get a book through there. Simple order. Click on for Kindle, or click to order on Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, you can order it through there. $15.95, and again $4.99 on Kindle. But Hellgate Press, you can order through there. $15.95 on HellgatePress.com, and show some love to Hellgate Press. Again, if you're a veteran, this could be your opportunity. Hellgate Press is very welcoming, very warm. That if you reach out to them and you have a story, they're not the type that says no right away. Mm-hmm. They're the type that says, you know what, maybe you come back and this is some notes for you. They take the time. So Hellgate Press, check it out if you have a story. And those are the places you can get it right now. And some books, the local bookstores will be available. And if it's okay, if I can give some information to you when they're in the bookstore, when I made that deal for them to be in the bookstore, that'd be great.
Yes.
And sure. I'm also working with education to see if I can get, they've reached out to see if they can order some books and get into the school system, because I want this to be that book that from a Virgin Islander that goes all over the world, and it gives that depiction of basic training, that real depiction, but it came from some kid from a small island, and I want it to be that. And you guys can make it that where people see us. People say, that's that Virgin Island kid who wrote that book.
Yes.
And so with your support, we can make it the staple book that everybody who's a veteran or anybody in the military here picks up, abroad picks up. And it's bigger than life, that puts us on the map. We do that with music. We do it with sports. Let's do this with our writers.
All right.
I got a quick question for you, Saleem. Mm-hmm. Are there anything else like that out there right now?
You know what? Through my market research, I didn't see anything like my book.
Okay.
And from my perspective, I think the perspective is the big thing there, because I'm a man. I can't tell what a woman's perspective is from basic training. Someone needs to write that story, because it's different.
Yes.
All right. When you talk about race, gender, political views, you write that perspective from your perspective. I can write from my perspective, but you write that from your perspective, that has power. From my perspective, I haven't seen any book like this. Okay. And I think other people have told me that, where you have something unique.
Yes.
And the publisher told me that when he read the book, he said, you have something here that can be really special. So I think that's what gave me the most confidence when he said, you know what, if people give it a chance, it can be very special. And so take a risk. It's a good book. I'm confident enough. As a writer, we have low self-esteem. So I'm confident enough to say that I think my book is hot, and you should pick it up, because you're going to laugh. You might cry a little. You might feel sorry for me. But you go through a range of emotions that I think that are good to go through when you're reading a story.
Okay. All right. Our guest tonight is Khalid Saleem. He wrote a new book called Growing Up Green. There it is right there. You can get it at Amazon. You can get it at hellgatespress.com. It'll be in local bookstores here in the Virgin Islands here soon. He's working on that deal now. Soup, any final words?
Khalid, I want to wish you much success. Continue doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
May the Most High guide you and be with you. Rastafari live. One perfect love.
Yeah, we like to say one perfect love. Soup is our blessings and his prayers. Our prayers and his blessings. I got that twist up there. Our prayers and his blessings coming down on us equals one perfect love. So on that note, we're out. We do have another show lined up this week. So stay tuned real quick. And if I could say also that this is the It's Your Perspective talk show every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Our website is streaming live from the VI.com. We do have a telephone number, 340-201-9005. On that note, we're out. Peace.
Rasta youth must inherit the earth. Can't sit down, just send me for work. comes the danger, sent by the Savior. Welcome, dear Rasta youth.